Hello, this is SpeakingDosa from SpeakingDosa.com. Welcome everybody, and I'm finally back. I apologize for not uploading any video lectures for the past year because I was so busy working in hospital and coming back home tired and catching up with my sleep on the weekend. I hardly had any good quality of resting, but now I'm in a second year residency program. I have a lot of hopefully a lot of weekend times off, so now I'm uploading this video. Now the questions I'm going to talk about today is question number 1 and 2 from the TOEFL test on August 29th in 2009, and it was done on Saturday. I hope you guys did okay in these questions because I think and I believe, I'm pretty sure that I talked about at least one of these in the previous lecture series, and this is a very classic questions. Number 1 was, what was the favorite subject of yours when you were a child? And this number 2 was, between a big city and small city, which one would you rather live in? These are the questions, and let's do one by one. Okay, question number 1. I've talked about my strategy, SpeakingDosa strategy, people, quantity, and quality. Whenever you have a question about something related to school, you have to think about 2 things. Number 1 is people. And whenever you think about people, you always have to come up with teacher or your best friend. Either one. You cannot talk about both of them because of time constraint. You can talk about only one. In this question, I'm going to talk about friend. And my best friend now is Mandy. I've used John Thompson in the past. It's kind of boring, so now I have to change and had to come up with a new name. And Mandy just suddenly stepped into my life, and I'm going to use her name as an example from now on. Okay, so I've picked up this person's name, Mandy, and how can I relate her to this question? Well, she was my best friend. Maybe she was my girlfriend. She was my first girlfriend. And why I like this certain subject, it's mostly because of Mandy. I met her there. I was just so happy to know her, and she is still even my girlfriend now. I'm so happy. I'm so satisfied. I mean, we still go out now. So the second concept that you're going to have to use is quantity. Whenever you think about school stuff, what is the first thing that comes across your mind? Yes, school grades. When you're a student, you can never live without getting a school grade because you're going to get pimped down by your teachers, your friends, and especially your mom and dad. So using these 2 concepts, friend and school grade, you can come up with a nice, well-structured response in question number 1. So let's start with a good topic sentence. How do you say this? You set up a background. I was born in China, but I moved to the Philippines when I was in grade 10. And believe it or not, grade 11 Philippine literature was probably the best school subject that I've ever taken. Why? Let me explain. Okay, this is a very well made topic sentence. Now you have to use 2 examples, 2 reasons. Why? Because I met this really wonderful girl whose name was Mandy. She was born in Korea, but somehow she grew up in the Philippines, so she was almost like one of those Filipinos. And since my language was so poor and I had no knowledge on Philippine literature, I was really struggling in the beginning of term. She suddenly stepped in and she helped me learn the language. She helped me do some homeworks, and we started to go out. So thanks to her help, I was able to pass the course. But not only that, I got a really good score, and that's why this Philippine Literature 11 was my best course ever. And somehow I was getting 59s and 70s in other courses like sciences or math, but in this class I was getting like 95%. It was so amazing. It could have not been possible without Mandy in my life. So without any doubt, and even now I still believe that that the Philippine Literature 11 was the best course I've ever taken. And I have never looked back. It's so easy, right? So you always use people, quantity, and quality concept when you come up with a response in question number 1. Number 2 was, if you were given a choice of a big city versus small city, which one would you go for and why? In question number 2, you always have to use the concept of comparison. This is the second strategy of SpeakingDosa. How do you use this? Well, you pick two friends, John Thompson and Mandy Kim. Mandy is the one who lives in the large city called New York, and John is living in a small city outside Calgary. I don't even know the name because it's just so small. Well, Mandy always talks about how great her life is in New York. She talks about downtown. She talks about all the cultural activities and nice and expensive restaurants. And she even gets good school education because she goes to where? NYU, one of my favorite universities. Whereas John is living in a small rural town outside Calgary. His life is miserable. There's not hardly anything going on. There's no movie theaters. There's no computer connection. We can only talk on the phone once in a while. And he has to walk 2 miles to go to the closest bus stop. His life is it's nothing. So, without any doubt, I would rather go for Mandy's city life. See how? See, you guys have to feel how easy I can come up with this responses. How do I do this? Always and always use the method of comparison when you guys are doing question number 2. So, here we go. I'm going back to Vancouver next weekend because Monday, 2 Mondays from tomorrow is a Labor Day weekend in America, so I have an extra day off, and I really miss my mom and dad, and also my Vancouver home, my cats, and I'm gonna catch up with my friends and meet this person named Mandy. So I'll give you guys updates and wish me luck, and I'll talk to you guys next week, hopefully next week or the following week. But I gotta tell you, in September I work in the pediatrics ER, the emergency room, so I'm kind of like busy, but I'll try to upload some of them for you. And once again, this was SpeakingDosa from SpeakingDosa.com. Wish you good luck.